brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. And now it's sippin' time.
Hey, welcome to this Sips episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. I am one of your hosts here at the table. This is good old boy Mike. Joining me here is good old boy Jason.
Good to be here.
Good old boy Sparky.
Howdy.
Good old boy Brent.
Hello.
The Beast.
Howdy.
And Made Man Bob.
Always good to be here.
Brent and Bob are joining us from the Bourbon Mafia, and the Beast and his wife have a blog that you'll hear a little bit more about at the end of the show. Our sip segments are all about wine, distilled spirits, tea, and coffee. Today is a very special day. We need like a theme song, almost a Barney theme song, probably.
Should I start whistling?
No, I don't love you and you don't love me. We can drink wet whiskey happily. All right, that was really bad. I'm just going to buzz myself for sure. Today is our favorite things of 2015. In the spirits world, we'll talk about our favorite whiskeys, our favorite new distilled spirits for 2015, and possibly some of our favorite places to enjoy distilled spirits in 2015 as well. Good old boy Jason gets the honors of going over our sips rating today, talking as Juju the Clown.
What is Juju the Clown? Is Juju the Clown Jewish? I don't know.
Shalom. I didn't say
Shalom Aleichem?
Oi.
Oi Gevult?
Think back to your bar mitzvah channel.
Should I when I say it?
So the backstory is, so Jason saw he was going to have to read. He was like, Mike, I'm going to have to use an accent today when I read the Sips episode. And I go, no, I don't think so.
It's messed up, man.
That is messed up. I'm just going to channel the inner
clown in yourself.
What does a clown sound like? Do you have a nose I can squeeze at least or something? I don't know.
I just think of serial killers. I don't think you want to go there.
It's just...
Not like Krusty. Come on.
Go for it.
I got nothing. I'm just going to read them. All right. Sips ratings. Number 1. Give me a glass of water to wash out my mouth.
Gangazine, water. Gangazine, bring water. Bring water.
Number 2. Nice. But what else do you have?
Well, isn't that nice?
Number 3. Interesting. What was that again?
Interesting.
Number 4. Let's keep this secret to ourselves. Pour me another.
That's classified.
And number 5. Oh my, I was unaware anything could be this good.
Oh my goodness.
Yes!
Thank you, Juju the Clown. Well, it was another great year for distilled spirits, with bourbon taking a commanding dominance of shelf space, new products, and major buzz again. Our show today reflects this as we considered these highlighted products discussed on Sips, Suds, and Smokes for favorites of 2015, and we're probably going to drift away from this list very quickly. So, Weller 12, Yamazaki 12, Cavallon, did I say it right?
Mm-hmm.
Cavallon. After 13 episodes, I finally got it right. Sherry Cask. High West. What, Bob?
The X is silent.
Oh, okay. High West Midwinter's Night's Dram, Act 1. Four Roses Single Barrel, Kalila, and George T. Stagg are just a few of the products that we talked about on the show this year. Bob's going to talk about some other stuff we have about what we covered on the show.
Well, we tasted and reviewed about 50 products for 2015, so there's a little something for everyone. Some of our favorite shows from Season 3, we did the Wheater Showdown. We did one on Japanese whiskey. We did an international whiskey show, basically anything other than the U.S. and Scotland. We did a High West tasting of their range. We did a store barrel blind tasting. That one was a lot of fun. We did a selection of offerings from classic cask. Best bottle for a family gathering, which everyone seemed to pick the one with the highest proof. I don't know what.
That's a thing.
Asking in alcohol, but best gift under $100. And then we also did a show with A. Smith Bowman with their line.
Yeah, really cool lineup all the way around, and some great shows. I have my favorite.
I'm just saying I took my Stagg to Christmas again this year.
Well, and I love the Weeder Showdown. I thought it was a great representation of, covering all things Weeder. Really great show. I really thought it was one of my favorite, definitely this year. Brent, did you get a chance to listen to any of those shows and any that struck you that you really enjoyed?
I like the store barrel blind tasting. That one intrigued me.
They were all full of crap. They all say,
I still got a lot of those right. I'm still basking in my glory
it's like
over
7
here.
months later, he's like, I got them all right.
I scored the highest one?
That
was the one you're talking about.
I need to go back, listen to the episode, declare a winner.
I think we need a recount.
I guess so, something like that. Beast, any of your shows the favorite this year?
Yeah, I thought the private barrel pick show was great fun.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and we have another blind tasting show that's coming up in season 4 as well. So, oh yeah, you're gonna be stumped.
Oh, I'm gonna be.
You
stumped.
are.
I'm just gonna start pouring different whiskey in different bottles just to mess with everybody.
I'm gonna pour water and everything. You'll never guess anything. Well, Brent, the trend on increased demand for whiskey in general continue to rise. Will this trend continue for 2016?
Absolutely not. No, you don't believe that, do you?
So you're saying the new
no one's buying whiskey anymore. It's no longer any fun.
The new Angel's Envy, distillery just needs to idle for a couple of years. Is that what you're saying?
I hear that glazed donut vodka is going to be really big this year. You should probably invest heavily in that.
It'll go well with the Rogue Voodoo Donut beer.
No,
That's overpriced. Probably $18 a bottle too. Sorry, Jason's learning the world of beer along with us. So, what else is going to be the trend for this year, Brent?
The flavoring of the barrels. That's going to be the big trend, as always. The port wine barrels. You're going to see more and more of that. I think every distillery is going to jump on the opportunity to put something different out, give people a little different taste.
So, are there going to be additive flavors like vodka, where they'll be adding like apple and vanilla and other things, or you think that they'll just be components like Woodford Reserve, where they'll do like double oak, or when you say flavored, what do you think is going to be the trend?
It's tough to say, but the port wine barrels seems to be is the one that sticks out the most right now.
So elements of cask finish that would be infused as a flavoring component is really kind of what you're talking about there.
Correct.
Wow, cool.
I thought you were going to say it was like flavoring elements like regret and alcoholism.
Donut.
And stuff. Yeah, donut.
cinnamon.
Yeah, there you go. Jason's favorite, cinnamon.
Wait a sec. You mean if you could combine cinnamon plus whiskey, has that been done?
Equals money.
So, Beast, if you had to pick a flavoring component, what would you think you're going to see this year?
I'm not a fan of these flavoring components, so
I didn't say you had to like them.
But it's going to happen.
I don't know. Gatorade? Some type of energy drink whiskey, maybe?
Bourbon? Yeah.
Coming to a store shelf near you.
Krispy Kreme.
Well, Beast, we're actually seeing a lot of distillers that are actually working on a wide variety of wood types. To talk a little bit about, some of the cask finish elements just then. Bottling different age products, it's actually kind of getting crowded on the shelf. Where a lot of times you would see, hey, this is Woodford Reserve, period. And all of a sudden they got like 5 different versions, Woodford Reserve, I mean, what do you see producers doing with whiskey in 2016 itself?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Well, I think with malt whiskey, with the Scottish producers, I think farm to table is going to be huge this next year. So you see Bruichladdich and Kilchoman came up with these sort of organic farm to table. They grow the barley, they distill everything on premise, and the new Bruichladdich Octomore that came out is just a phenomenal whiskey. It's peated up to 260 parts per million or something ludicrous like that. Did you say you tried it already?
I did. It was awesome. Yeah,
it's amazing, right?
I did. I got to go to a full Bruichladdich product tasting. It was really awesome, and they had the Octomore there as well. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. It was a peat bomb, you're right.
It's a peat bomb, but it's balanced. But I think when people are really controlling every aspect of production and growing their own grains and doing the whole thing, and also from a marketing perspective, they're all into this, sort of boutique farm to table thing. That we're going to see that spreading around, and I think it's cool. I mean, they tend to be a little expensive for the age and everything, but they obviously take a lot of care into it, so that's cool. In American whiskey, I'm going to call 2016 the proof is in the pudding. So you got a lot of people who've been sourcing whiskey, kind of planning to release their own distillate, their own stocks now, right? So Willett's coming out with their own stuff. Smooth Ambler's coming out with their own stuff. I think Michter's is planning to maybe later in the year start to mix in some of their own stuff.
High West.
You guys could probably name a couple more.
Yeah, High West.
High West.
Yep.
So this is going to be interesting. I got to taste a bunch of the Willett stock that has not been released yet. They have a wheated bourbon. They have a high rye bourbon. They've released the rye already. Some people might say a little prematurely, but it's an interesting product. And so people are used to this really high quality, 7, 8, 9, 10 year source whiskey coming out of these guys. And they're going to have to, the proof's in the pudding. They're going to release their own stuff, and we'll see what happens there. The other thing, I think, is we're just going to see attack of the wheaters. I think everybody is going to make a big stink if they have a wheated whiskey. And all of those brands I just mentioned are all planning to come out with wheated whiskeys. Smooth Ambler's doing a 50% rye and wheat, which is interesting. Willett has a wheated bourbon. There's a couple of other craft distillers that are coming out with wheated bourbon. So I think about 4 or 5 years ago when the Van Winkle explosion happened, everybody was like, ooh, wheated whiskey, and everybody started making them, and now they're sort of coming of age or almost of age, and so we're just going to see a flood of those types of products too.
Well, we were actually talking about that Willett rye before the show.
Yeah, it's a little young. But I wanted to touch on something just really fast. So a quick trend that I see coming that I don't think a lot of people have talked about is kind of crossover between spirits and other realms. So not only beer, which we're starting to see a little bit of.
Voodoo donut whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. where the...
Sparky's shaking his head next to me going, this shouldn't happen.
But you're seeing where whiskey is aged in a barrel. They give the barrel to a brewery, and then the brewery gives it back to the whiskey manufacturer to age whiskey in it. But what I think you're going to start to see is some very interesting barrel uses, whether it's aging peppers and then put whiskey in it, whether it's aging wine and then putting whiskey in it, whatever. I think you're going to start seeing some really unique, different products, especially in the beer world, because there's a lot of unique flavors in beer that does cross over into whiskey. So I think that's a big trend that you're going to see. And then not only is wheat going to make a huge resurgence, but I think rye is about to get on fire. I mean, everybody knows about...
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit that button.
Well, everybody knows about LDI MGP rye, but I think you're about to start seeing a lot more sources of rye come out from across the United States. So I would look out for a lot of rye.
Yeah, that whistle pig, definitely. Yeah. Well, let's jump right into some of our favorite products for 2015. Each of us has selected our favorite product to talk about today. And up first is going to be good old boy Jason.
All right, so I picked a product that most of our listeners had probably heard of at one point or another. But for some reason, this one just did some incredible things for me this year. And my product this year is going to be Booker's. Booker's was always a go-to whiskey for me. You can find it on the shelf. It's not allocated, but they did something very different and unique this year. They took it from pretty large batches to where there was no quality control over batch. They pretty much just pulled stuff at random to where they made batch numbers, and each batch number is labeled with a nice sticker, and it tells you the date it was bottled, the age of the whiskey, and the proof. And I really like this process. I really like giving people more information so that they can find something they like and then buy a lot of it if they like it. And my favorite quote about Booker's is when Booker retired, he told Fred, make sure they don't mess with my Bookers. Anything else, I don't care.
Yeah, I thought that was a good line. And do you think it was real or some marketing shtick?
No, I think it's real. I mean, long story short, my family's been doing business with Jim Beam for 4 generations, and I can tell you, I mean, Booker, like, that's what he drank. He drank Booker's. That he likes cask strength whiskey, and he doesn't ever want it to be filtered. He doesn't ever want it to be watered down at all.
Is there a particular batch that you really loved out of this year?
One of my favorites was a batch called Big Man Small Batch. It was one of the round table ones. So basically what they're doing is sometimes Fred's picking a batch himself, and then sometimes they do a round table tasting where they bring over a bunch of people, taste through, and they collectively decide how to bottle and blend a product. And it was one of the round table ones, and I thought it was pretty incredible.
Cool.
And like I said, easily available.
So I'm curious, have you ever blended on the back end between batches?
I actually have not. That'd be something really interesting to do.
Or added some water?
Yeah. No, I do not add
What
water.
if it was amazing limestone water?
Yeah, I agree.
Harvested from a field in Kentucky.
So we're actually have some Bookers here at the table we're enjoying and watering down in front of Jason as he gasps every time I put a drop or two in.
Absolutely strangle you if he saw you doing that.
So any of you guys had Bookers or this year or any of these batches and had a comment or two about it? Nobody.
I like the new round table. That's the first edition of the round table. It's very good. It's not a Booker's 25th, but it's very good.
Oh, the Booker's 25th was stellar.
Yeah, I have to say that is a really good.
That was
a great product.
whiskey.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's so limited. Yeah,
Yeah,
a little
I didn't
pricey
stash
too.
any of those.
Definitely.
Nice about Booker's is you can get it in pretty much just about any market. It's relatively easily accessible, and it's one of those things. There's always one or two products in any hobby like this that is sort of the gateway drug that gets everybody in. And not bourbon guys, when I talk to them, especially newbies, Brent and I run a whiskey society down here in Fort Lauderdale, and you'll get new guys come in and they'll say, well, I was just drinking this squalid brown water most of my life and mixing it with Coke, and then I tried this one. It was really neat. It was in this big wooden box. It was called Booker's, and wow, that just opened my eyes. And it's a solid pour. I mean, I've never had a Booker's that wasn't a good solid pour, and some of the round table ones are really just really excellent. It shows you what Jim Beam can do. Focus on trying to make not trying to make an ocean of bourbon like they do every day. God bless them, they're making a lot of money. But when they really want to make something that good, they absolutely can.
Any of you guys want to rate the Bookers that we have here? Or offer up your tasting notes? We have one here. It's a 124 proof, which was not one of the batches.
No,
this
this
is a
was
previous
right. This was
release.
right before the batches. I
Yeah.
mean, it's still great. I mean, Booker's is always great.
So this is a heavily blended product, not a single barrel, single batch. So
I mean, I always give Booker's a 5. I mean, I just
about
do.
that?
It's just,
Oh my goodness!
it's just so approachable. It's so funny. You go and you search for all these whales that are cask strength. They're impossible to find. And then you just go back, you pour yourself a glass of Booker's, and you're just like, this is pretty darn good.
Well, awesome. So we're out of the chute with one person offering up their favorite products for 2015. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back with Bob and his top picks for 2015. Hey, welcome back to Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Today is our Best of 2015 show. We have a lot of great stuff that we're talking about that we've had both on the show as well as outside the show. Some of our co-hosts from Season 3 have joined me to talk about some of their favorite things this year. Up next is Made Man Bob to talk about his favorite product for 2015. Take it away, Bob.
It was definitely a hard pick for me because we had some really excellent whiskeys, but I narrowed it down to two. One, the Cavalon Sherry Cask Soloist, is just a phenomenal whiskey. Absolutely loved it. Happy to drink that every day for the rest of my life. The other is my all-time favorite, the George T. Stagg, and I have to give it to the Stagg for two reasons. One, that's my all-time favorite, and two, I could reach that one. The Cavalon is up on the top shelf, and I don't have a step stool to reach it, so I'm going to go with the Stagg.
Oh, you're going to go with the Stagg? Is that what you said?
I can reach. Hey, I'm 5'7". Come on. It's the people on the internet every year greatly anticipate the release of the Antique series, and then they will just round and round and round discuss this year was not as good as that year 12 years ago, and they'll go back and forth. And yeah, there's some variation from year to year, but every year it's just so on point. I mean, it's a real, if you like a heavy bourbon, if you're a real bourbon geek, this is like a brick to the teeth every year. Just hints of chocolate, black cherries, vanilla, just a stunning whiskey every year. We're sitting here drinking the 142.6. Yeah, it's hot, but the flavor holds up through that proof. I give it a 5.
Oh my goodness!
Yes! 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 Yes!
So have you had the 2015?
You're talking to
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, have you had the 2015? Jason?
I have gotten to try it, and it is absolutely incredible. I mean, I always say if I have to take one bottle with me to an island for the rest of my life, it's going to be Stagg.
Yeah.
It will just kick your butt every single time, and I love it.
I like how you don't have to brush your teeth afterwards because it just eats everything out of your mouth, too. That's tastes great, destroys everything.
It's the one you finish with. It's if you're at a Scotch tasting, you don't drink the Islas up front. If you're at a bourbon tasting, you wait until the end of the night for the Stagg. So,
Beast, do you have the 2015?
I've not gotten any of the antiques from 2015.
Ooh.
Cry for me.
We are definitely. I'm sorry.
Sure, rub it in.
I agree.
Seek the Holy Grail!
Absolutely, it felt like that at every moment chasing BTAC this year, didn't it? I didn't acquire any, although I did taste the George T. Stagg 2015 this year. Great offering. I think the thing I love about that product is it's approachable, and I really enjoy the ability I can probably put it in somebody's hand that they have no idea what they're tasting and go, that's pretty good. And I go, yeah. So
good luck on
You
getting
mean
it.
when they catch their breath
Yeah.
30 seconds later?
yeah.
That's pretty good.
I will say though, I've always been a William LaRue Weller guy. That's always been my favorite of the bunch.
And I am as well out of the BTAC. Yeah, another bottle I did not acquire this year. So still, I know Jason's laughing at me, going, he saw the chase go down. He was like, I'm rooting for you, Mike. Yeah. So we both got hosed.
I drank mine on premise.
Even better.
Find that bar that's got it for $15 a pour, and then go drink the whole bottle.
Well, I had some really great stuff this year, and I wanted to talk about my top pick for 2015. My top pick is going to be Heaven Hill Select Stock, is the product that I had picked for my favorite product. So you may not be quite familiar with this product. Heaven Hill Select Stock is a wheated 8-year bourbon in cognac. It is a wheated product. I think I said wheated 2 or 3 times there.
Does it have wheat in it?
I think it does.
Anybody like some more wheat?
Absolutely, yes, I would.
Speak
Please. Yeah. I found myself picking this up more and more every time I went back to Bardstown this year. And it was interesting as we were all kind of arriving for the episode. Everybody was really curious about what we picked. And I kind of used very simple, math about figuring out what I picked for my favorite product, which is this is one bottle I finished from start to finish this year. I mean, I went through the whole bottle and actually then some of a second bottle. So I cannot deny something I just go back to time and time again. I love drinking this bourbon. I really love sharing this bourbon. That's the one thing I found myself doing quite a bit of with this is, hey, have you ever tried this before? And, offering it up to a wide variety of people. So this year I actually declared myself a weeder lover. How about that? A new point of epiphany. I know everybody's in grand applause.
It's water.
Except that I add water. Is that what you said, Bob?
No, you share it like Gollum shares his ring. You sit in the corner.
That's right.
My precious, don't touch it, my precious.
2 drops for you. So I think it's actually more of a gentle palate shortcoming, as products with lots of pepper and spice are really just not always my favorite. Rye beer, pepper beer, rye whiskey, big California cabs with bell peppers, spicy pepper cigars. All these things just really don't do it for me in general. I like these products a lot, but, I like them when they're in really great harmony, with the other flavors that are kind of going on. But all too many times, I've found these products, the pepper and the spice just completely takes my palate over. I don't know if it's some sensitivity, that I have for, spices in general, but that's why many of you where that is not the case are on the show. It's to help balance things out. So that's what I really love about all the hosts that are on the show is, I think we own up to things that we really like or, that we're kind of have a natural disposition towards. But at the same time, I think we're always kind of rooting for that weak side, of some things. So I'm always looking for, that rye that I really love. Like Few, it makes a rye that I really like. But I do, yeah. Well, Heaven Hill Select Stock is only available at the Burbage Heritage Center for the most part. I have seen it in some retail stores every now and then, but I don't know if that's some people that are just...
I don't know if that's legal.
I don't know either. I just...
It's a fancy word. Come on.
If you
aren't there some lawyers on this show?
Negative.
At the tasting center at the Heaven Hill Heritage Center,
Yep.
that's part of their tasting flight too, so you can actually try it out there as well too.
Yep. So this is a barrel-proof product. It's shipped at 124.4 proof. It's definitely single barrel. Again, it's an 8-year wheated bourbon that's actually finished in cognac cask for 32 months. That's a long time in cognac. So on the nose, there's lots of brown sugar and fruit and dark cherry and plum and melon and smoke. The cognac notes tend to kind of linger on the nose and are always present in the palate. This bourbon has a bit of a rough start, even for a barrel-proof whiskey. Did I point out the long cask cognac finish? I love that. I really do. So after... I'm sorry, Bob, what?
Does it have wheat in it?
It definitely has wheat in it. So,
making sure.
Yep. After that initial burn kind of subsides, the fact that you're drinking a barrel-aged product, I actually get kind of sweet oak, brown sugar, and fruit, which were some of the things you kind of picked up on the nose as well. There's this long, oaky, fruity finish. Adding water adds a little toffee sweetness to it. And for me, it's a 2-finger pour, a 1 cube of ice. Please don't gasp, Jason. Or some cold water, and basically I'm in heaven for sure. While this has been available for about a year, I'm not quite sure how long it's going to be available. I just know that I always look forward to finishing the next bottle of this. My sips rating for Select Stock is a 5 as well.
Oh my goodness!
Yes! 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 Yes!
So I actually brought a little of this to share in the in the main studio today.
Yummy.
Oh, he says yummy.
I feel much better about life now. Thank you, Mike.
Would you like some water, Jason?
No. Straight. Thanks.
So,
Add a little seltzer to that, perhaps?
any sips?
Little bubbles with my whiskey.
Any tasting notes you guys want to offer up?
Well, I'm a sucker for cognac, too. So, I mean, if you marry wheated bourbon with cognac, I think that's a win-win. But it does go on for like 15 minutes if you let it.
Yeah.
I accidentally drank all of mine.
I think there's a hole in your cup. Or
I don't know what happened to it.
It was an accident.
It just like kind of disappeared.
It evaporates very quickly, folks. You got to drink it fast.
I agree. That is definitely a very common problem I find with this product. You guys want to offer up any of your sips ratings for this?
I'm comfortable with a 5 on that one.
Oh, a 5 as well for Sparky.
Yes. Yeah.
How about it, Jason?
I'd give this a solid 5 also.
Oh, it's 5 as well.
I will offer one piece of information. I now know where all the old Fitzgerald went, though. I think that's what this
You
base
think
is.
this is old Fitz?
This is old Fitz. I think this is that 1849 that they DC'd. I think this is exactly where it all went.
Huh. Or do you think that it's the same juice that they just finished off in cognac? Do you think that's really what's going on?
I really think that's what's going on. I think they branded the Larceny as a 4-year-old, a low-end weeder to go after Weller, and I think that they did this with some of their old stock to sell some cool stuff at the gift shop.
Not a bad guess at all. Well, let's move on right down the road in more than one ways than one. Beast is up next with his top pick for 2015, which is right around the corner from Heaven Hill.
Thanks, Mike. So I've been writing this blog for about 3 years now, a little over 3 years, and my day job is it's at a tech company downtown Manhattan, and I'd never done any crossover between whiskey and work. So this year, I decided to do a little holiday party and throw my first work whiskey tasting. So I just went absolutely hog wild on it. I wanted to just throw up stuff that I knew nobody, especially in New York, could ever get their hands on at all. So I did the Four Roses Small Batch 2015, which I thought was one of the greatest whiskeys this year. The Smooth Ambler, they did this gift shop 10-year single barrel rye release, which was sold out in 4 hours. Got my hands on one of those. The Heaven Hill, William Heaven Hill Hazmat 144.6 proof 15-year bourbon, and the Willett C22D, this 22-year weeder. Where else do you get an office holiday party with that lineup?
My invite get lost.
Can I come work for your company? I'm available at any time.
We are hiring.
Excellent.
None of you though.
I can drink.
I take out the trash pretty good.
I'm semi-literate and have almost all of my teeth.
Keyword almost.
I can vouch for that.
So I expected not everybody there was a whiskey nut. I expected the Four Roses to sweep, right? Because this is the most approachable, delicious. They were all pretty much cask strength bourbons, but I figured the Four Roses would sweep. Interestingly, the William Heaven Hill actually got the most votes. In a plurality, won the tasting, which I did not. That was the last thing I expected because it's this crazy hazmat 145 proof monster. I was smart enough to pop that bottle, do a little quality control on it, and leave it open for about a month before the tasting, which made a huge difference. Do not drink that bottle. Do not finish that bottle when you open it, or you're completely wasting it. But after a month with a little air in there, it really does open up to something really, really interesting. But for me, that Willett Weeder was just the best whiskey of the year. 22-year, 137 proof. Just so much oak and so much. I don't know how you describe. I'm struggling to describe a really great wheated whiskey. The only word I can come up with is kind of punchy. It's got that punchy thing to it. But it's just delicious. Everything you look for: vanilla, big wood, kind of big baking spices and sweetness. And I just drink that all day if I could get my hands on it. I was lucky enough for a buddy of mine to go to the gift shop on that one day that it was there and pick up a bottle and send it to me. That's my whiskey of the year. It's clearly a 5. I think probably all of these are a 5, but that one just kind of rocked my world. So if anybody's sitting on a case of Willett, shoot me over a couple.
Well, we've all enjoyed interesting moments with Willett Family Estate, as well as just it's been very interesting about the availability and distribution of what's kind of gone down with a lot of these products. So for those that may not have a point of awareness, these products from Willett, and you guys check me up and correct me anything I'm saying dead wrong here, which I know I'm going to bust some of this. So I know that most of the 20-plus year products from Willett, one, their provenance is not always the same. You have no idea what the juice is. So, there's a lot of speculation on where it comes from and whose it is and, a lot of things that kind of interesting background. So each of these are 20-plus years. There's like usually a 20-year, 22-year. There's actually a 24-year that gets released in the series. They release it by barrel number. And it's a combination of they release the vast majority of it now only through the gift shop at Willett Distillery. But there are store barrels that have been purchased and get regularly shipped to a few places. I know that one was Astor in New York City. Had a really great barrel that they picked up on and they distributed there. A lot of it finds its way to Japan. Is another regular destination where Willett actually is. You can find it outside the U.S. But it's just been very interesting. There have been a regular group of these 20-plus barrels that have been released on a monthly basis. And it's literally like somebody lit something on fire, and the whole barrel sells out usually in about 2 or 3 hours. And I've actually gotten swept up in some of the craziness of charging up to Bardstown and trying to get there before the masses get there and scoop everything up.
Is that why you've got an eye patch? Because it wasn't like that. That's a new thing,
It's a
right?
new disposition for me, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Things got a little rough.
Well, I know that Jason's collected quite a few of these bottles as well.
Yeah, I have, and I'll tell you, I personally think that these weeders were better when they were a little bit younger. I'm not the fan of the 22s as much as I was the 21s and before. I can tell you that the price that they're selling them at the gift shop has pretty much just gone overboard. I mean, these are $500 a bottle now. I mean, that makes them just pretty much unreachable for 99% of the market. So, do they have their place? Yes. Are they good? Yes. Is it $500 good? I don't really think anything is $500 good. So I think that you can find some stuff that's better at that price point. However, they are really good. They do have their place. I think they're, I think they get great scores, and I think they deserve it, but I think they need to tone that price down a little bit.
Interesting.
I agree with that. The 22 when it came out was half that, so that must be a pretty recent jump to 500. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, I don't think it hasn't moved to 500 at the gift shop. It's still around 300.
Oh, they're 4s and 5s now.
Huh.
From my understanding,
well, on the
secondary
market.
Yeah,
secondary
the latest
800.
Astor was $499
yeah,
too.
they're
so maybe that's-
Yeah.
$500.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It used to be just available in stores down here, though, right? I mean, I picked up like a 17 or 18 a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, that was when that was the case. But welcome to the new world for sure. Yeah, great juice. Well, listen, let's move right along. We have some more favorite products to talk about for this year. Up next is good old boy Brent, who's joining us today for the first time, and we'll talk about his favorite products for 2015. Take it away, Brent.
Okay, well, I'm going to go a little different direction because you guys are all going high end on stuff that you can't get in the stores. So I'm going to go with the Knob Creek Single Barrel 120, a private pick.
Huh. Yeah, and was also on our store bill show as well. We had Knob Creek on there, right? Yeah,
Yeah, we
We
did.
did, yeah.
You tried to pull a fast one on me on that one.
Absolutely.
Well, it's something that everybody can get if they look hard enough in their town, at a local store or something like that. And it's a phenomenal juice. It's, a lot of those barrel picks, I'm very partial to them right now as something different for something that people can't find. Because when people go out, they're not going to get the Heaven Hill Select Stock, the George Stagg, all these other things. They're not going to find that, but they may be able to find these store picks, and that's what I'm going to stick with. And the Knob Creek 120, a couple of those picks that I've tried, phenomenal, absolutely off the shelf.
Yeah, great choice. Now, we had was it the 100 or 120 proof? It was on the store barrel. Anybody remember? I want to say it was the 100 for some reason.
I thought it was the 120, and you put in a 100 to try to.
That's what I did. Yeah, I did something like that. Yeah, it was really lame.
Yeah, the 120 is definitely off the shelf good.
I agree. And so I think that's, one trend that we did not talk about, which is a lot of people that are kind of trending towards shipping their products that are more cask strength or at least a higher proof than 90 proof. And here's a great example where Knob Creek has been generally available only at 90 proof for a long time. I don't know, 8 years, something like that.
100 proof.
100 proof, always.
9 years old.
Anyway, so here's a good example of things being, them changing things up and shipping a barrel proof product, or at least at 120. I don't know if that's probably not barrel proof.
It's like close enough.
Yeah. So interesting change, for I think the average consumer for sure. So.
Yeah, I think an extremely smart decision. I mean, you've seen that trend. I mean, Makers released a cask strength. Now you got Beam releasing more cask strengths. You're gonna keep seeing that trend because that's what's hot right now.
Yeah. Well, great pick, Brent. Well, listen, we're going to take another quick break here. We're going to come right back. We're going to hear Sparky's top pick for 2015. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Today we're talking about our favorite picks for 2015. We've talked about a lot of great stuff so far. Up next is going to be good old boy Sparky with your top pick for 2015.
Thanks, Mike. So I'm very torn because I love spicy things, and I'm told I'm broken in that sense. So I love rye, and I love making cocktails with it. I love the flavors that it adds. But when I'm drinking whiskey, I too am. I celebrate the wheat apocalypse that is coming and our new wheat overlords. And for years I've enjoyed Weller's products. I think they're very approachable. I actually use the Weller Special. The standard is aftershave on a regular basis. It's good stuff.
Works really well when you get hold of it too.
That's a real thing. But really, Weller 12 is to me. It's a shame because I used to be able to find handles of it on the shelf, and now that's getting tougher and tougher to find. But it's a great, very mellow, very smooth. It's always consistent every year. It's a fantastic product. And I love the notes of vanilla, toffee in it, and this is kind of weird, but I like smelling the glass afterwards, after it's dried up a little bit. You get a lot of vanilla, a lot of oak. It smells like a distillery. If you've ever had the pleasure of being in a nice bourbon distillery, you really pick up those flavors in a glass. But I never mix it with anything else. I don't do water. I'm sorry, Mike, or ice cubes. I just neat wheat whiskey is great. And the strange thing about rye, for me at least, when I drink it neat, pickle juice is the flavor. I don't know what that is. Every time, that is what I always get, is pickle juice. But I love it in cocktails. If it's an old-fashioned, a Sazerac, whatever, give me rye over bourbon anytime. But Weller 12 for the win, as it were.
Wow, great choice. And product that we talked about on the Weeder Showdown. And what's really strange for me about this product is just how in short supply this was in some markets. I have no idea what people are thinking at Buffalo Trace sometimes when they distribute this, because you can get it by like the 50-gallon bucket full in Texas.
In Texas, I was in Dallas earlier this year, and there were shelves of it. I mean, I walked out with like pockets and coat clanking. They thought I was a wino.
So it's like 175s that you can just walk out, the store. And yet in other parts of the country, they haven't seen like a drop of Weller 12 in like a year or two. It's almost like the consumers are redistributing this product for them, at cost. It's really a very strange, situation, and it's really unfortunate because this is really a great product that you picked. And it's what's really interesting. I find that a lot of people I run into, and I ask them, what do they miss or what do they really enjoy, drinking. This is one thing I miss. I miss the Weller 12, or I really enjoy the Weller 12. It's the one conversation we always come back around to. I guess, I don't know, maybe it's a Weeder Fest, and we just all kind of like, feed on each other rather quickly.
Hail our new wheat overlords.
I agree. Yeah. Great choice, though.
So somebody told me you have to mix the OWA, the Old Weller Antique, with the Weller 12 to get the quote-unquote poor man's pappy.
Poor man's pappy. Yeah, I've done that. It's I've got all the pappies too, and it's a fun blend to make. It really doesn't compare, but I always laugh at people that buy $300 pappy 10, and then you can buy a $30 or $40 bottle of Weller 12 and laugh at them.
That's the same thing. Yeah. Definitely.
So I'm mixing this up at home. I'm going to give it the old Pepsi challenge against some Lot B 12-year.
Well, I love to read about that. Definitely on the back end of that experiment. So,
I've tried it. I've tried various proportions, and it doesn't come close. It's good, but it's people who think it's alchemy. Oh, they're not really making this Weller 12. They're just blending this stuff and pumping it out by the gallon. Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, we've had a great time here talking about our best of products for 2015. Well, you'll actually find a lot of us at some pretty cool whiskey bars. Beast is actually in the New York City area, but we all love some great places to go to. Beast, tell us about some places that you really love to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. So for American whiskey is a little tough in New York. If there's a bottle of antique collection on the shelves, it's gone by a couple of hedge fund guys in a night. But there's a little strip in the kind of Flatiron district in the 20s in Manhattan where you got Maysville, you got Flatiron, and American whiskey. They're all in the 20s on the west side. Those are all, no lack of good American whiskeys there. But for my money, if you come to Manhattan, go straight to Keen's Steakhouse.
Ooh.
This is the coolest place.
I do like me some Keen's.
This is an old last century pipe club. So you used to the fashion used to be these porcelain clay pipes that you couldn't carry in your horse's saddlebags because they'd break, so you'd store your pipe at the club. There was a fire there, so a lot of the old precious ones got lost, but you've still got like General McCarthy and Babe Ruth and Vanderbilt, and it's just these pipes lining the ceiling. The whole place is a beautiful old men's club with pictures of tigers and naked ladies and leather, and they have this awesome pub room off to the side, and just the most outrageous, really mostly single malts, mostly scotch, but just a wonderful selection and a great place. That's my favorite. Did somebody chime in there?
Yeah, that's the place with the giant mutton chop, right? Isn't that?
That's right.
Oh yeah, so good.
Yeah, their specialty is the mutton chop, which you got to try as well.
You can't even see the ceiling for the pipes. The place it's awesome.
So
the
cool.
history you can soak up in that place, aside from the good whiskey and the good food.
Yeah, last time I was there, I went Brandy Library and then right to Keen's, and oh man, I was a little hammered after that one.
All right, episode over. I know we're all meeting after this episode. Wow, great choice.
Yeah, I had my bachelor party dinner there. It's just like, it's heaven. I mean, somebody said that's where I want to be buried. I think that might be my spot. But I do want to mention for American whiskey up in Mount Kisco, there's a bar called Pour, which is awesome. If you're, I mean, I would even go up there from Manhattan if you're in town. This guy Anthony, who's a friend of mine, has the best American whiskey selection in the area, bar none. I mean, by far. Actually, I bought a barrel of whiskey this year, and it's sitting outside the place, so I have a little personal investment in it. But that's a great place as well. And then there's a lot of new whiskey places popping up. There's a cool place in Brooklyn called Wheated, which is for our Wheat-mageddon wheat extravaganza conversation. They're sort of focusing on wheated American whiskeys and bourbons, and a bunch of places popping up. So it's coming, but it's still difficult to. It's not like in Kentucky where you can go to Haymarket or the Golden Dollar and just taste all the Pappies and all the Buffalo Trace Antique. It's still a bit of a struggle in New York to get the really high end bourbon.
Well, speaking of some great places, I've asked for Brent to introduce something very cool we're doing this year on this episode.
Well, we have something new this year that we are allowing our listeners to pick their favorite Good Sipping Zone. So the nominees for 2015 are Monmouth Whiskey Library, Portland, Oregon. Did I get that right? Did I say that right?
Multnomah.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, Multnomah Falls is really
too much
famous.
Stagg for you.
Yeah,
it's like the largest freestanding waterfall on North America. Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
All I heard was weeded whiskey.
Great place, by the way. Keep going through that list there, Brent.
Another one is the principal's office in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
That one you said correctly.
That's because he's been to the principal's office a couple of times.
More than once, I might say.
Indeed.
And then we have Jack Rose Dining Saloon in Washington, D.C.
Ooh. Jack Rose.
Yeah, that's a classic for everybody. You can't hardly leave the place once you step in. So, and one of my personal favorites, Haymarket Whiskey Bar in Louisville, Kentucky.
Really? Have you had a drink there?
Well, I might have been drug out of there once or twice.
You still owe me bail money.
I think so. So there will be a voting poll posted on our Facebook page where you can vote. The winner will be announced on Facebook February 1st. One lucky voter will be picked at random for a $50 gift card at the 2015 Good Sippin Zone.
Wow. Sounds pretty awesome. I think we're just going to go to New York. Hang out with Beast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go to Keene. Yeah.
Should we book our tickets right now?
I agree.
I'm going to clear out my calendar.
Keen's for a steak, and then maybe hop a train down to Jack Rose.
That works. Yep. Well, this
Talk
is
about some Willett. Jack Rose has the most extensive Willett collection of pretty much anywhere in the country.
Well, I would
Husk might have him beat.
Yeah, I have to say Husk is pretty cool. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So anyway. Well, this is one of my favorite episodes of the year. We actually get to talk about some things that we're doing on our next season, and I'm really just giddy with all of these cool shows planned. I mean, I just not only do we get to talk about a lot of cool products, but I really enjoy spending a lot of time with all of our co-hosts, the folks that are here today, some new folks that'll be on the show for season 4 as well. I'm just really pumped. So here are some cool things we have planned for season 4. We're going to have a show on bottled and bond. I love that topic. We're going to have a high-end whiskey show. Some of the things we've actually talked about today, we'll actually probably bring back around for the high-end whiskey show. 4 Roses full inventory, all 10 recipes in one episode, blind tasting. How about that?
I need a new liver.
For sure.
Can we have your liver?
Angel's Envy is a product that we'll get to taste all different renditions of Angel's Envy. We'll probably talk a lot about the new distillery. Who knows? Maybe we'll do that on site. What about that? Talk to Wes. Maybe see if he's up for that. And we'll talk about whiskey. It's actually outside of Kentucky, or maybe Kentucky and Tennessee. We're still working on some of the development for that show. So those are a couple of the topics that we'll talk about on season 4. We're actually going to get to attend some really great festivals and covering a lot of things at each of those festivals this year. So you'll be able to catch up with us on a lot of great places. Whiskey Obsession in Sarasota, Florida. Whiskey Fest in Chicago. The Whiskey Extravaganza in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The Nashville Whiskey Festival. The Whiskey Jubilee in New York City. The Kentucky Bourbon Festival. And Whiskey Live in a couple of locations, both in New York City as well as Louisville, will be a couple of the festivals that we'll be attending as well. You guys pumped about season 4?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to secretly drop water into every sample of Jason's for season 4. I need to elevate your palate, man.
Rude.
Look, every step above Fireball is a good step in the right direction.
We're going to save you.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
Any other big plans you guys have for season 4 as well?
Besides the new liver?
I hope to get off parole. I think, I want to be reintroduced to society. And
I just think we need a private driver for 2016.
I agree.
To get this tracking thing off my ankle, but
little Vaseline helps to keep that
a car
thing.
that I don't have to blow into to make it start. That would be good.
Oh, wow. There you go. Well, it's really been a great time on this episode. We hope you enjoyed this episode and catch all of our stuff online on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search out Sips, Suds, and Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store. We love your feedback as well, and you can reach us online anytime at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Many of our hosts have their own emails. You can reach Jason at sipsudsandsmokes.com, Sparky at sipsudsandsmokes.com, Mademan Bob at sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every single day, and you can reach us on Twitter at SipSudsSmoke, as our Facebook page is definitely always buzzing with lots of news. Do us a favor and take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a great big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. We really enjoyed some special guests with us today. Definitely, Bob and Brent, if you take a moment, tell us a little bit about the Bourbon Mafia.
There is no mafia. What are you talking about?
No people. That you ought to know.
Well, the Bourbon Mafia is a nonprofit organization composed of high-end bourbon enthusiasts and members of the spirits and service industry. With representation in 10 states, the group raises money for local and national charities through rail bottle auctions and other bourbon theme events. Great group of guys.
Absolutely. Bob, thank you for joining us today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
And Brent, thank you for joining us for this episode.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Beast has a really fabulous blog. He and his wife blog about whiskey, and I really enjoy reading about this all the time. Beast, why don't you tell us a little bit about your blog and how we can catch up with you in the future?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Well, this has been an awesome year. It's my first year joining the Sips, Suds, and Smokes, and I've gotten to do 3 episodes now, so it's been super fun, and thank you for inviting me. Our blog is Smoky Beast, www.smokybeast.com. You can spell it right with just a Y, or you can spell it wrong with the EY. You'll still get there. And we actually just launched a new arm of Smoky Beast. We're doing Mezcal as our new thing this year. So we're very pleased to have Jake Cahill, a new guy, joining us and writing Mezcal reviews, and that's kind of a cool upcoming new spirit. But yeah, we're on Facebook, Smoky Beast, Twitter, Instagram. You really can't miss us if you're type Smoky Beast in anywhere. Just go out on the street and shout it. We'll come crashing down your door.
Well, good old boy Jason, thank you for being here.
Good to be here.
And good old boy Sparky, thanks for joining us for this episode.
My pleasure.
Well, this is good old boy Mike, thanking you for joining us. Please come back, join us once again, and I'll ask you to keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.